gamers. I hope the camera stays alive. But we're back here. I'm in South Africa. Some things are scuffed. Deal with it, okay? First thing that I wanted to mention is I'm on one monitor, so this might be a little bit of a struggle, but I think you guys can most likely see the screen as you should. And first thing I want to do is give a shout out to the Steelseries Forge and Steel tournament we're going to be having this Saturday and Sunday at 4 PM CET. Beasty's team versus Marine Lord's team, where I coach my team, Marine Lord coaches his team. Tune into twitch.tv/Steelseries for the cast, and then I'm also gonna be streaming a little bit of my POV on one of the days. But yeah, that should be exciting. $10,000 tournament. Now, why are we here? What's been happening? Well, I'm in South Africa, as some of or most of you know. And what ended up happening is there was a bit of a weird situation, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't know if it was like Christmas morning or, you know, it was somewhere around there. I get sent a post and people were like, did you see this? And I'm like, oh, what's happening? And basically what happened, there was a bit of a weird call out or post or something. I don't know what to call it. And I felt the need to respond, so I'll kind of give a quick intro, but what I want to do in this video is explain how MAA and I, or just MAA for some of them, are making our tournaments, because there's been a post that kind of was out there, and let me just show it. Now, I do want to say, please do not go after anyone. Everything is sorted. I've said my piece, and I'll give you guys a little bit of an update on like the kind of like a fallout after all this happened. But basically what's happened is there was this post by Wham. Wham participated in the Steelseries tournament and he lost, his team lost, and he said, Coach Wham lost in the Steelseries tournament today, but still lots of games tomorrow. Make sure to tune into Puppy Paw versus Beasty team tomorrow at twitch.steelseries. It's a super fun format and I love the love for AOE4. So very nice, you know, he lost in the tournament, his team lost in the tournament. He still, you know, shouted out the tournament, promoted the tournament, which I think is great, right? That's kind of what you want to do. You don't want to like not promote a tournament just because you're out or something. So I think that's very cool. And then this got sent to me. So again, I don't want this all is sorted. Main point of this video is to explain how we run the tournaments so that we don't get accused or said things about how we're running stuff in the future again with these kinds of implications, right? So for those that don't know, Chum is currently an admin for EGC TV. This is not what EGC TV said. I want to say that. Pesty and EGC TV have been carrying the scene for a very long time. And MAA and I, with Age of RTS, are just, in Steelseries, are just starting to host tournaments. I just got the mosquito thing. So EGC TV has been carrying tournaments for a long time. So this is not EGC TV's opinion, even though Chum is currently working for them. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. Don't mold it EGC TV. Don't even mold it to Chum. I hope I made that super clear, so let's get into it. So he responds, this is fun, but if that was sponsored by World's Edge, this would have been impossible. Organizers should not be able to participate in their own tournaments, saying that I should not be able to participate in my own tournaments, and players should not have any influence on it. I'm really concerned about the future of Age of Empires 4. So the way I read this is he is concerned because potential rigging of the tournaments in my favor, right? Integrity of the tournaments, you know, stuff like that, which is implying that I'm going to do something to do something with these tournaments so it's going to favor me, or MAA will do something that's going to favor me. To which Wham responded, we need multiple organizations to help to sustain the scene. EGC has always done great things, but it's massive pressure for one organization. And obviously I agree with it. There was another tweet, which is not in this one, so I'm not sure if he deleted it. He also said, I can't believe seeing tournaments organized and hosted by players participating themselves. Where are we going? Nobody's afraid about the integrity of the scene. I'm so worried, to be honest. So I found this post very disingenuous, very like is anybody not worried that Beasty's hosting these tournaments and he's obviously like the integrity is at stake, which I just found it very weird. So I wanted to talk about it because I don't want any shit on my name in the name of Steelseries or Age of RTS. So I wanted to clear everything up immediately. Marika and I both responded on EGC TV Discord because I feel like this was brought publicly. So we wanted to respond publicly because we have nothing to hide. So there's a bit of a back and forth. Chooms, you know, he said he didn't mean it that way and yada yada. And, you know, I'll give you an update on that later on. But basically, I wanted to talk about how we do tournaments so that nobody is worried about the integrity of the scene and nobody's worried that I'm going to cheat in tournaments or anything else. So I actually opened up every single tournament Marika and I have done this year. And we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 tournaments this year, and this does not include qualifiers for all these events. These are just the playoffs, the main events. We've done 13 of them. I would say about half of them are done with Steelseries because Steelseries, they're my sponsor, right? They're my own stream sponsor, so they wanted to do events in AOE4, which is amazing, and they want to do more next year. And half of those tournaments are done by Marika or Marika and I with our own money. Okay, so we put our own money. So I wanted to talk about this and just explain how we do the tournaments. So first things first is Marika hosted pretty much every single tournament for women in AOE4. There was a lot of tournaments that she hosted, from one-on-ones to team tournaments, and they started off, this is the very first tournament, started with a very small prize pool, and she used the subs from Age of RTS, or I think her own stream at the time, to host these. So there were tournaments like this. She didn't participate in this one. Then the first big one we hosted, or that I hosted, was Beastyqt at the start of this year. And basically, this was my own money. I'm pretty sure this was on my own stream, and everybody loved it. I did not play in this one, but I made the tournament. I casted, Marika helped. I made my own, you know, I made the rules for the tournament. Everybody loved it. I think we reached 3,500 viewers or something like that during this one. So people liked it. It was great, you know. Next one, another Women's League Premier League. In this one, she did play. It was, again, she put up her own money. So yeah, she participated in it, but it's her own money. She can do whatever she wants with it. At the end, Nostromia won. There's another Beastyqt number 2, again, put up by me and Marika together. I think this was my own channel as well. I might be wrong if this was on my channel or Steelseries, but I think this was still on my own. And then, yeah, it was on my own because Hermes Prime was a sponsor. Yeah. So for that one. Then we had Slayer of the Beast. Now this is where Steelseries comes into play, and they said, you know what, we want to put some money into Age of Empires 4, and this is the part where I participated in the first tournament organized by us. Now, I want to make something very clear. Steelseries is my sponsor, and they want to sponsor events in AOE4. They want to sponsor events that I am in. They don't want to sponsor events if I'm not allowed to play. If I'm not allowed to play, there will be no events, most likely, that they're interested in. Like, I am their player, right? I am the guy that's playing and that's sponsored by Steelseries, right? So if I don't participate, it's a bit weird, right? They want to support AOE4 scene, but also they want to have close relationship with me regarding all that. Sorry, I have Twitch chat right here, so I'm just like taking a peek down there. I'm not reading a script or something like that. So basically, Steelseries said, hey, we're gonna give you money. We want you to create an event around Beasty. So what we did is we made Slayer of the Beast. So Beastyqt was basically a tournament where best of one, and then the winner stays. The more wins you have, the more money you get. So we decided to organize Steelseries Invitational Slayer of the Beast, where I will be playing against, I think it was 19 or 18, something like that, other players. And basically, it's the same concept as Beastyqt, except I am staying every round, and it's me versus 19 pro players. And every match that I win, I get money. If they win, they get money. Very simple, right? Very simple. And again, Steelseries wanted to create this with me being the main kind of thing. So no integrity, no rigging, you know, nothing. It's just a tournament. Then we had Top Team Gamer, which was again sponsored by Steelseries. And we did a Top Team Gamer that basically the tournament system was We had top 20 players, or 18, I don't know how many, it says 9 here. Yeah, top 18 players in the world. And the way it worked is everything was done very open, nothing shady, nothing crazy. The way the tournament was ran, number 1 seed was put in Group A, number 2 seed was put in Group B, number 3 seed was put in Group B, number 4 seed is put in Group A. So all the seeds were done like that, very obvious. This is all... Like, you can literally check it at the time of ATR, which is All-Time-Tournament Rankings. And basically, the way it worked out in the playoffs... by the way, Marine Lord is first. The Liquipedia doesn't show, right? Because of the, like, head-to-head, or I forget. So basically, the way it worked out is Marine Lord was first in the group. He was matched with Anotan. First from Group A was matched with fourth from Group B. Same thing, first from Group B, which was me, was matched with last from Group A, which was Vortex. So as you can see, the matchups were done like that. There was no changing of the tournament system. There was no rigging. It was all very out there in the open for everyone to know, for everyone to see. Right, that's it. And the whole idea of this tournament was you play with, it's a team tournament, but you play with different teammates every single round. So in here, I played with Wham one round, then I played with Sassy, then I played with Poppy Pot, and I played with Anotan, and so on and so forth. Then we had Women's 2v2 Cup. I think this is, yeah, I think she did play in this one. Yeah, she did play in this one. She ended up losing in the finals. This was, you can sign up with whoever you want. Then we had another 2v2 tournament. This was like a mixed tournament where it was the same a tournament as I just showed you guys, where with Top Team Gamer, where number 1 female player from Group A was matched with the lowest ranked player from Group B, and vice versa. So again, there was no shenanigans, there was nothing, no integrity at stake, yada yada. This was the same style 2v2 tournament with just pro players. Another Women at Arms tournament, FFA, another Women one-on-one tournament. King of Dry Arabia was a tournament that was sponsored by Mareka and I. So this was not Steelseries, this was sponsored by Mareka and I. And this tournament, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong, was the very first tournament we have used Age of RTS channel, which is our channel for the tournaments. We used the subs that people gave there to sponsored this tournament, and I actually gave, I think, $1,100 or $1,200 of my own money, like my own money, not sponsors, not someone, you know, like my own money. I said, you know what, let's host this tournament so we can grow the Age of RTS channel, so we can get another tournament in AOE4. So basically, I put up like $1,200 of my own money. I think $200-300 was from Age of RTS. And I won 500 back. So basically gave out money to other players, okay? And what was the premise of the tournament? It was King of Dry Arabia, guys. It was the very simple drafting system where you ban, I think, like 2 civs, and then you just pick a civ. Every map is King of Dry Arabia. I ended up winning the tournament, but this is literally... This is literally a tournament you cannot rig in any way if you want it. Every map is Dry Arabia. That's why it's called King of Dry Arabia, right? And then we have Forged in Steel, which is the current tournament that is going on by Steelseries for $10,000. And while this tournament was happening, that weird tweet was made. So let me explain the premise of this one, and then I'll dive into something a little bit more specific regarding tournaments. I know this might be boring, but just stick with me, okay? So this tournament, Mareka and I wanted to organize a tournament while we were in South Africa for like a Christmas thing, to have a tournament for the scene while we're in South Africa. And Steelseries basically had $3,000 for us to host a tournament. And then a few days before the tournament, they said, you know what, we'll give you $10,000 instead of $3,000. And we were like, okay. So because we didn't know how much I can participate, and again, this is Steelseries, you know, my sponsor, that's putting up this, and they want me to be involved in this, whether casting, playing, or having some major role in this, because they're my sponsor. We said, hey, how about the idea that the top 4 players in the scene right now are coaches, and we do a draft. And we did a draft. There's a video on my YouTube channel where Marine Lord, me, Wham, and Poppy Paw, we kind of did like a bidding system, auction house, and basically everyone bought players. You had like a Steelseries duelers that you used to buy the players with. I think you had 15,000 total per captain. And then these are the teams that we got. And after week 1, where Marine Lord beat Wham, that's when Wham did the tweet, and I beat Poppy Paw. That's when the tweet came out that it's the integrity is at stake. I am not even playing in this tournament, right? I am coaching the players. Like I have as much influence as Marine Lord has over his team, and the system is extremely and very normal, right? Like the maps are not some crazy maps that favor my players. All the rules for this tournament were made before anybody knew who's going to be on whose team. So again, even if I wanted to rig this somehow, I didn't know which players are going to be in my team, right? All the rules are done before the tournament started, and once the tournament started, the player auctioning happened, and that's it. There were no rules changes, there was no rule adjusting, there was nothing. So I just found it very weird to post something like that. So what I'm trying to say is all these tournaments we've hosted so far are either Steelseries sponsored or sponsored by Mareka and I, and we had 2 tournaments that were sponsored by Hermes Prime, and he okayed everything that we have done, right? All the players are very much aware that Mareka is hosting the tournaments. Like, I do promotion for the tournaments because I have a big stream, I have a YouTube channel, so I do promo for the tournaments. She's my wife. And if she needs any help, I will help her. But all the players are aware of this, so it's not like the players are unaware. We haven't had a single complaint about any of the players that the rules are somehow favoring me or that they're worried about something. None of that happened. Not once. We have hosted 11, 12 tournaments, however many we counted. Everyone's loving it. Everyone's happy that we're having all these tournaments. And obviously everyone is happy that EGC TV is not the only one that has to carry everything in the scene. Like now we're coming up, right? And it's going great. So again, I want to emphasize that all of these tournaments are, pretty much all of them, are either our money or Steelseries money that wants me to be involved. If somehow there's this kind of riot where Beasty should not be playing these tournaments, there won't be any tournaments by us. Because why would Steelseries make tournaments and then be like, oh yeah, our player that's sponsored by us cannot participate in those? Now, so this is in AOE4. I am the only pro player streamer that's organizing these kinds of tournaments with Mareka at this level, like this amount of tournaments, this amount of money, and so on. There's some other people that are hosting them, that have hosted tournaments before. Obviously, there was no drama with them, but you know, when I do something, then it's a problem. So I want to say this, and I want to compare this with AOE2. So if anyone after all of this is you know, watching and they're like, you know what, there is some integrity issues and there might be a problem in the future. Hera and Viper in AOE2 have hosted plenty of tournaments in the past, not only small ones but big ones as well. GL, which is Viper's team. I don't know who else is on GL right now, but Viper's team has hosted tournaments in the past. There was never any drama with that. People were not like, you know what, Viper should not play in that one. It's just very weird, very odd timing, especially because we are trying to not only give back to the scene, but host more tournaments, and we're trying to fill in any empty space of tournaments by having content. Yeah, Hera is also in GL, true. We're trying to fill in any a content space that there is like empty in the scene. We're trying to host tournaments so the players have something to play for, viewers have something to watch, fans have something to follow. So yeah, Hera and Viper are like the 2 most famous players in AOE2. They're on the same team that's also hosting tournaments. This is not, we're not doing something that's never done before and everyone's worried if we're gonna rig tournaments or something crazy. This has been done in other games. This has been done in AOE2 for a very long time. And again, whenever a player signs up for a tournament, if that was the issue, they can just not play in the tournament if they're that worried about the integrity of it. But as you can see, Wham, a player that you participate in this one, he lost. He still promoted the tournament, right? So clearly he thinks there's nothing wrong with Mareka and I organizing the tournaments. Now, I do want to say, in the future or in the past, like Beast of the Hill or Slayer of the Beast, Those, for example, were my ideas. Top Team Gamer was an idea that originally brought up to Mareka, and she completely added all of her own stuff. She organizes the casters, she organizes the overlays, she does the drafts for the tournament, she does the casters, the organizing, scheduling of the players, everything. She does it manually, or she has Tommy, which is the admin that's working with Mareka, to help everything go smoothly, and so on and so forth. Do I give input on these tournaments? Yes. So do other players. This is something that people are not aware of, and people should not, fling shit at us. If/when, don't want to spoil anything, we do major tournaments where, let's say we do it, I'm not announcing anything, let's say we do a tournaments for $50,000. If anyone thinks that I'm going to be like, you know what, I'm going to make the map pool that's good for me, and I'm going to make the draft system that's good for me, is insane. We have a council of players for these kinds of things already set up without us having a tournament massive. Like $10,000 is the biggest tournament, but it's pretty straightforward because I'm not even participating. But in the future, we already have rules in place where, yes, I will give a feedback for the tournament as a top player in the game. So will other players, right? The plan that Mareka wants to do is basically gather other players, show them a set of rules, and be like, what do you guys think about this? Is there any maps that you guys think would be bad for tournaments? She's going to gather some people that are not participating, but maybe they're casters or maybe they're community figures. We want to make tournaments that are for everybody, that people can watch and follow, and that everyone is okay with. We're not going to be making tournaments that are good for me and we're going to rig them because I'm going to win them because it's our rules or something like that. That is beyond ridiculous. I have said this before, and I'll say it again. I make, if you guys want to go into details, I make way less money from tournaments than I do from streaming and YouTube. If I was gonna scam people, I'd probably do a Beasty coin, not by winning money in tournaments that I get way less than, if I did YouTube or Twitch. Like, that is just ridiculous. And again, it's either Mareka and I will do this, and we will get help from other players and opinions from other players, where I am definitely not going to be the one calling the shots what the rules are going to be, or we're not going to have tournaments at all if I am excluded from these tournaments, because that is ridiculous and that is crazy. So yeah, I might, obviously I might bring up, Mareka is also my wife, right? So I might bring up an idea. Hey, let's do another Beast to the Hill. Let's do a Beast to the Hill LAN event. Right? That doesn't mean that the tournament is rigged if every player understands the rules, if every player thinks that the rules don't favor me in any way, and if every player agrees with actually playing in the tournament. So I think people should not be finding problems where there is clearly none, and I think the integrity of the scene will be more than fine. We have hosted, like I said, 11, 12 tournaments. We haven't had any issues. Some of the tournaments were more silly, like King of the Hill, Beast of the Hill, that I commentated. I did not participate, where we had some weird maps. Some tournaments will be more serious. Some tournaments will be silly. And the silly tournaments that we do have, we asked people if they want those on ATR even. So like if we're playing a tournament, it's a best of one on like some silly, stupid map, we consulted with the players, again, the tournaments that I did not play in, and been before the tournament, do you guys want this to go on ATR? Because it's kind of weird, because ATR is usually, S tier tournaments, and these are silly games, and we work according with the players. And I want to emphasize this, all the tournaments and stuff on Age of RTS or Steelseries channel, 96% of stuff done there is Mareka, not me. Like, yeah, she'll ask me like, hey, do you think this or should I do this way or this way? And I was like, I think you can do it this way, but you should consult with this person as well, because they had experience in tournaments before. She asked me, hey, who do you think I should get to cast? Who do you think would be a good caster with this or that person? I'll obviously give her input. I'm not going to be like, she's my wife and she asked me, and I'm like, I can't speak. I can't say anything. Obviously, I'm going to help her, and obviously, I'm going to promote these tournaments, and obviously, I'm going to help her to get more sponsors for these tournaments and to create more tournaments for the scene. Like, that's just extremely obvious for me. So once again, the silly tournaments that we do have, even if I participated with them in them, like Beast of the Hill or Slayer of the Beast, where I played, but the money was from Steelseries, we can make whatever rules we want, and players can choose to participate or not. Now, I do want to say something that was mentioned here. If this is fun, but if that was sponsored by World's Edge, which is the people involved in Age of Empires 4, the developers, this would have been impossible. Like, again, it's just a weird tweet, right? Like Wham says, I love this tournament, it's fun, yada yada, and he says this is fun, but if this was sponsored by World's Edge, this would have been impossible. But it was not sponsored by World's Edge, so I don't see what the I don't see what the issue is. I can throw down 1,000 euros right now, and I can say, we're gonna play a tournament where I have 3 times the supply, and your job is to try kill me. I can do that. There's nothing anyone can do about that. It's just a fun tournament, right? And some players can sign up and some players don't need to. Now, if we ever do a bigger tournament that is sponsored by Steelseries and Microsoft or World's Edge, then you need to fall in line with some of the rules that Microsoft or World's Edge has. Because once the company involved into that makes the game, obviously you have some rules that you have to follow. I'll give you guys an example. This is from StarCraft and from Age of Empires games. If Blizzard or World's Edge or Microsoft sponsors on a tournament, they most of the time ask you to not have alcohol on the stream, right? That's a rule. So if Mareka and I were to host a tournament, a LAN event, and they sponsor by providing money or providing whatever, we cannot be fucking getting wasted on stream. That's just a rule. Just like if there's any issues with rules or whatever, again, we already have a council in place for those kinds of situations. Well, I will not be making any decisions. I'm just going to provide information or feedback just like everybody else will, and that will obviously get verified and checked by the sponsors, by World's Edge, or by whoever else. Microsoft and World's Edge, from what I know, Cascade, do not allow their employees to participate in the tournaments. This is why the developers cannot participate in these tournaments. Like, that's why you never see developers participating in tournaments, because they're basically they have like hidden knowledge behind the scene, what's coming and what new patches are going to happen, so they cannot go with that into tournaments that are sponsored by the same company. We're not employed by Microsoft, we're not employed by World's Edge, and if we have a tournament with Steelseries where Steelseries wants to sponsor a LAN and World's Edge comes out and says, well, Beasty can't play in it, we probably are just going to skip their sponsorship and we're going to do an event with Steelseries. Does that make sense? But we haven't had any issue with World's Edge. Again, we're always checking these things. We're always checking stuff with Microsoft, so I don't need anyone to worry. It's all going to be okay. Okay, it's all legal stuff. There's no shenanigans being done. There's no tripping up or changing the rules or whatever else. So, yeah, I think what people should be very happy about is that we have more sponsors and more tournaments coming up, instead of worrying about some imaginary problems that are not happening and have never happened and will never happen. I'm a player, right? I'm friends with a lot of pro players. They have open communication. They can message me at any point if anyone is worried and say, Anotan can message me like, hey, Beasty, I think maybe this map pool is this way or that way. They can message Mareka, but it's not like I have a insane win rate on one map and then I'm going to win the tournament because I'm good on that map. And it's just a bunch of nonsense, basically. So, yeah. So after that post on Discord, Mareka and I responded. And obviously, Mareka felt not offended. That's not the right word, but kind of like, the fact that Chum is like, oh, Beasty is organizing these tournaments when most of the work, like I said, like 96% of work on these tournaments is done by Mareka, is just like disregarding that she's like actually doing anything on these tournaments. It's like, I'm doing them. I'm not. Mareka is doing most of the work. And obviously she responded, and it got into a heated debate. And, I said, I did not expect this from you because I've always had great relations with Chum. So I don't know where the fuck this is even coming from. It's a bit of a weird one. And then, you know, I wrote something like, first Petito, the previous admin that screwed me over plenty of times, and now you. And then to give you an update on the drama, people started responding. People were calling out the hypocrisy of like calling us out, but then not taking the feedback for some other stuff for himself. Then Petito, the admin, responded to me and said I'm like the hardest player to collab with, or sorry, not to collab with, to work with, because I just, you know, don't listen or something like that. And I basically just responded, the reason you dislike, this is all, by the way, if you want to read all this shit, it's on EGC Discord, it's in the H4 discussion, so if you want to catch up with all of it, just read there. I'm not going to quote every single thing or like show the Discord. But yeah, I basically told him, and this guy, Petito, he's not involved anymore with EGC TV, but yeah, I told him like, yeah, of course you dislike working with me because you cannot bully me around and you cannot threaten me, which, you know, I've talked about this before, but the guy's threatened he's going to DQ me multiple times and shit. And I was like, yeah, because, you know, you can't threaten me because I have an audience and that doesn't work against me. But other players, you could just bully into doing whatever you want. So that's why you're fucking, you know, upset. But yeah, this guy that I just talked about is not working for or with EGC anymore. He's moved on, thank fuck. So yeah, then we had some like lunatics from the B era, if you guys remember. And I was like, you know, calling me out and yeah. And I was like, were you not, I was like, are you not, I didn't know you were allowed to talk to me because the last time those people that kept harassing me were like told that if they don't stop, they're gonna get kicked off Discord and stuff like that. So yeah. The Petito guy, the guy that like threatened me, he's not involved in AOE4 anymore. So don't worry about that. Don't hunt for anyone. Chum does not represent EGC TV, right? He works for them, but he doesn't represent EGC TV. And, you know, I am in very good relationship with Beasty, which is the owner of EGC TV. So there's no drama there. There's no hate towards EGC TV. I just want to re-emphasize that for the 5th time, okay? Because I don't want any people to go like witch hunting or anything. All this is sorted, and I wanted to create this video explaining how we create tournaments, why we create them, where we get the money, and how the tournaments are done and will be done in the future with full transparency, okay? Full transparency. And again, if there's any player in the chat, I encourage you, feel free to ask questions how decisions are made. Feel free to give feedback in the tournaments. If we're hosting a serious tournament, an S-tier tournament that everyone will be seriously practicing for, feel free to give us your feedback, because we will listen to feedback for all the tournaments that we have done. And if there's a map, right, that everyone hates in the tournament, we can just replace it. It's our tournament, okay? If nobody wants to play on Mountain Pass or something, a map that's not even in the tournament, and people are like, please remove it, it sucks, it's gonna be terrible for viewership. Everyone feels that way? We'll remove it. We can do that. We don't have like the ego, like we're a tournament organizer or something and we know the best and you're gonna fucking play on that or else. We don't care. We want to host good tournaments. We want to host entertaining games for the viewers, and we want good maps so we can show Age of Empires 4 in the best light possible. So that's it. Weird stuff, but I guess this is what happens when you start doing stuff and you get more involved. You also get more just BS thrown your way. In the team tournament, shouldn't the first of the group be paired with the first from the other group? Why are they punished with the last of the other group as a teammate if they come out first? Because then you would have a bracket that is extremely one-sided, and this is how these things are done in other games and have been done for a very, very long time. So, for example, if you had a tournament where Marine Lord and I were playing, and I finished first in my group, he finished first in his group, and then it's playoffs, and then Marine Lord and I just butcher everyone, is not a very entertaining tournament. So this is something that's not something done by us. This is just how tournaments are ran in pretty much any game to have the most balanced matchups possible. And at the top level as well, like having a 4th seed play with the 1st seed doesn't mean that that team is weak or punished. For example, in one of the top team gamers, I was 1st seed in my group, and the 4th seed from the other group was Vortex, and we ended up winning the tournament. So all the pro players, Wham, Puppy Paw, Vortex, Lucifer, Marine Lord Louis, whoever else, they're all Anotan, they're all very, very good, and there's no like, oh man, I got this guy, I guess I'll lose. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed this one. I know this was I don't know if you got this far on the YouTube video. I know my YouTube is there for entertainment and stuff like that, but I just wanted to have this video out there because I have a feeling there's going to be someone again in the future at some point that is going to bring up something very stupid to this degree where I'm doing something shady, and well, that time we can just refer them to this video and not have to do this all over. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you understood what I've been yapping about for the past God knows how long. And I do want to say, I guess announcement, semi-announcement, whatever you want to call it, we are going to continue doing tournaments in 2025. I'm not going to get slowed down by a couple of dented comments. Mareka ain't getting slowed down. She wants to invest more of her time. She has a daily job. She wants to invest even more of her time into AOE4, into esports, into tournament organizations. There's some already big plans in the works. And we will continue to work with Steelseries with bigger and better events in 2025. Can't announce anything yet. And we're also going to do, I'll do tournaments if I feel like it. I'll put my own money and host tournaments for you guys. I'll do tournaments during Subathon. And that's it. So I just wanted to say that there's going to be more tournaments, hopefully even more tournaments next year, more consistent. We're still playing around with the ideas, what kind of tournaments we want to have. Initially, we wanted to do like, let's try a couple of weeks long tournament. Let's try a day tournament. Let's try a 2-weekend tournament, because we're trying to find our groove and we're trying to find our like place in the tournament scene in AOE4, because I think EGCTV does a great job at hosting tournaments that are lasting multiple weeks, and it wouldn't make sense, in my opinion and in Mareka's opinion, that we just do the same thing, right? We want to do something different and something that fills in like other needs in the scene and kind of gaps in the tournaments, and maybe create more fun stuff, but also do a serious tournament from time to time. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. Appreciate ya. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year whenever you're watching this. It's 27th now in the evening, so you're probably going to watch this 28th or 29th. Not sure. It's my birthday on 29th, so I better see some happy birthdays on the 29th YouTube video, 29th of December YouTube video, or you're getting permaban, of course. And make sure, depending when you're watching this, make sure to tune in to Forged in Steel $10,000 Steelseries tournament on 28th and 29th of December. That's right. I am going to be coaching the players in this tournament, my team versus Marine Lord's team, on my own birthday. There's no breaks, baby. YouTube gamers, boop. Twitch gamers, let's keep going.